Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint the Macro Plasma Incinerator off the Redemptor Dreadnought kit. In particular, the actual plasma coils and how to get a nice glowing effect just using your brush. We're going to be using White Scar, Temple Guard Blue, Baharoth Blue, Sotek Green, Cantor Blue, Lamia Medium, and let's go. So you can see I started off by painting the coils with White Scar. Next up we're going to be using Temple Guard Blue across the top sides of the coils. As usual, you want to be working with thin down paint. I'm using my Lamia Medium and we're going for about 3 coats there. Eventually, once that's dried out nicely, we want to add some Baharoth Blue to our Temple Guard Blue, a 50-50 mix. Add some Lamia Medium or water as usual to thin it down. And in terms of the technique here, you want to be pulling your brush upwards so that it's getting darker to the top side of the plasma coil, not towards the white area. We always want to be stroking upwards. If we go downwards, we're going to get these yucky lines instead of a nice transition. You see, just painting upwards, adding more Baharoth Blue to the Temple Guard, going to a 60-40 mix, 70-30 mix, and restricting where you apply the lighter coats of paint to smaller parts, lower and lower, closer to the white. And now I've gotten to the stage where I'm just using pure Baharoth Blue. Again, watered down or thinned down, and pulling the brush to the top of the gun where I've already painted. Make sure you let the paint dry between each of your coats, so be patient. Alright, now's the really tricky part. Doing the raised coils. So I'm starting off by using Sotek Green and just hitting the tops of the coils, as you can see there. That's to create a guide for when I now start from the bottom of the coils and painting upwards, right up to that guide. And this is a tricky part. Be very patient and expect to make some mistakes. We're going to clean those up after. It's all good. I definitely know I made a few, and you'll see here, just going off the coils every now and then into the recessed areas, but it's all good. We'll fix it up. See, they're looking a little bit ratty after just one pass, so you want to come back with a second pass, a third pass, and get good coverage across each of those raised coils. And you can see again, I'm choosing to pull the brush upwards. If I was to do it downwards, we'd end up with a big thick pull right down near the white part. We don't want that. Yeah, and I'm just pointing out a few little mistakes or spills into the crevices I've made there. So we're going to spend a bit of time going back and fixing all those areas up, which will require us to get our Temple Guard blue, thin it down, adding some Baharoth blue when we need to, and just fixing up all those bits. And as you can see here, I'm now adding Stegodon Scale Green into my Sotek Green just to darken it down a bit, and hitting the top sides of those plasma coils that we painted Sotek Green just before. And now just going back with some really thinned down pure Baharoth blue. You can add a little bit of white into it if you like, just whatever suits the amount of glow you want, the brightness you want, and going right down into the bottom sides of the coils there. Creates that effect of the energy emanating from the bottom of that plasma right there. And just hitting the tops of those coils now with some pure Cantor blue, darken the tops of them, which is going to contrast nicely with the real glowiness of the bottom. Next up, you want to mix up white into your Baharoth blue and some Lamium medium. Just push it then in towards the bottom of the plasma coil to get a nice glow, as you can see there. While the white scar was out, I then added some nice reflective dots onto those areas of pure Cantor blue on the raised plasma coils. You want to keep them in a really nice straight line, as straight as you can. You can see there I did my best, not perfectly straight, but still a good effect at the end of it. Now you could stop there, looks perfectly good. Or if you'd like to create some glow, you want to grab your Cantor blue, your Stegodon Scale Green, water it down, and we'll start pulling that in towards the plasma coil. Be really careful not to get any spill into your plasma coil. And there it is with the first glow shade applied. We're then going to be adding Sotek Green and Stegodon Scale Green, again thinned down, and just adding some passes over the glow. While you've got these two paints out, it's a good time to add that glow to the gun casing around those 3 holes towards the end of the gun. You can see I forgot to do it right at that point and had to do it later, but I'll remind you now. Next we're just going pure Sotek Green, again thinned down, and adding just a smaller, thinner layer, so some of the darker glow is still apparent on the outside. And again, always pulling it in towards the plasma coil, so the paint is strongest where it should be, towards the glow. You see here, I have remembered at this stage to add some glowing around the gun casing holes at the front there. Pure Temple Guard blue now. Really thin this down and just add a nice small thin layer, as you can see here, towards the edges of the gun casing. And we'll finish that off by doing the same, but even less liberally with Baccarat blue. Just hitting the edges there of the gun casing. And finally, we're going to go with pure white scar and just very conservatively add it right into the bottom of the plasma coil there. Again, thin it down. We don't want this to be too overpowering, so just a really nice thin layer. And that does it for this tutorial, guys and gals. I hope you found that useful. Let me know in the comments if you did. Give us a like, subscribe for more painting guides, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.